and it comes back again, and then you get wrapped up in a new series, a new episode. So,
what have you been watching on Netflix?
Man, all of it. You name it.
What do you recommend for the offseason? True Detective? Checking out True Detective?
No, listen, there's this cross between, you watch the Ted Bundy tapes, and then all of a sudden you watch this series called You, and it's like when Ted Bundy met, like, Dawson's Creek, so it's brutal.
All right, so something on that there. He's wearing the Roger Goodell clown nose shirt.
So for people that don't know,
the T-shirt underneath it. You remember the T-shirt that Matt Patricia wore off the plane? The T-shirt the Barstool guys made. He's wearing that, and he has his zip shirt zipped just far enough down to where you know he's wearing it, but he potentially could deny it. I like Sean Payton a lot. They gotta get over this, man, and they gotta stop just casting about blame to other people. They had multiple chances to win this game, and the idea that they're blaming Goodell personally, like, what did they want Goodell to do? Call into the refs?
Oh, this is what they want. Because he had conversations with Al Riverton right after it happened. He spoke with Roger. He wants the blame to be off of him. Right. That's what he wants. He wants the NFL to take all the blame, and Sean, he's right and he's wrong, because the NFL they did what they could do. They blew the call. They said they blew the call compared to making an excuse for it.
They're not playing the game over again.
Sean should have moved on after that play, because there was a lot of football to be played. He tends to forget about that.
There's a ton of football to be played. You could have stopped him. You could have scored in overtime. You could have had a better first down call before any of this happened. But Sean Payton is one of the best coaches in this league, one of the faces of this league. And he's wearing the T-shirt Patricia wore.
I wasn't concerned about the T-shirt as much. I'm more concerned about that look on his face, because I have had that on my face coming out of places, and I was, man, it's the next day. Whoa, geez, I missed some time. Whoa.
My issue is just Netflix. It's not the Netflix or the Facebook.
Okay.
If you're watching that much Netflix, Sean Payton, it's just I'm watching Netflix.
That Ted Bundy doc is
intense.
Chilling.
Yeah, you need to break out of jail like Bundy did.
Time now for stories to start your morning. So LeBron will not return to the court tonight against the Clippers, as many had hoped, many thought. The Lakers, they're 6-11 with LeBron out as he nurses that left groin strain. Nick, how much longer can they afford to be without LeBron James?
Well, they can't afford to be without him tonight. They're playing the team they are chasing for the 8th spot. But this is news now. LeBron thought he'd be playing tonight. And Luke Walton, when he was talked about this yesterday, he left the door open to LeBron playing tonight. And then about 20 minutes later, Lakers medical staff, they released it that he is out. The plan was for him to play tonight and have a game under his belt before they play the Warriors this weekend. And so I don't know if there was a setback. I don't know what happened, but the plan was for him to play tonight, and now he's not playing.
Yeah, the most important thing outside of them saying he was going to play is that if they hadn't struggled, if they hadn't been 6-11 with LeBron being out, it wouldn't matter that much. They would be like Golden State when Steph coming back, when he's ready to come back. And as we could see with the basketball that Steph Curry played after straining his groin, he was ready to be on the court. LeBron is not ready to be on the court. This is the big difference between the NBA and the NFL. If it's NFL, he'd be playing.
He'd have to.
And he'd be gutting it out to the end of the season. This is the right thing for the Lakers long term.
All right, sticking with the team and all their trade rumors. So Lonzo Ball wants a say in where he ends up if he gets moved. He reportedly prefers to land with the Knicks or the Bulls. It's a pretty bold move by Lonzo, CC. What do you think?
Hey, man, I want a lot, too. You know, I really do, Lonzo. Like, I enjoy being on television. I enjoy being in New York City. But I prefer to be in Los Angeles, Florida, someplace that's balmy. Hey, bro, you better discover your game. Forget about where you're going to play. You need to be more concerned about, man, can I shoot some free throws? Is my game going to evolve? Am I a true point guard in this NBA? Like, there's other things I'd be concerned about.
And from what Tanya Ganguli out in Los Angeles is reporting, of all the teams in the league, the Pelicans have one of the highest opinions of Lonzo Ball. And the Pelicans, they might move Drew Holiday if they end up making the Anthony Davis trade. But even if they don't, they want to move Drew Holiday off the ball and would be committed to playing Lonzo 30-plus minutes a night. I know you got drafted by the Lakers and your dad spoke it into existence. You don't now just get to pick some of the classic franchises. Well, my brand really is a Laker, a Knick, or a Bull. I mean, what are you doing, Lonzo? Like you said, let's get above 48% from the free throw line and then start making some demands.
All right, moving on to the Super Bowl. Back to football. Lots of questions about the health of Todd Gurley, especially with C.J. Anderson getting the bulk of the carries in the playoffs. Anderson just wants to win, saying that, quote, if Todd wants to play 98% of the snaps, we're going to be okay with that. CC, what do you expect from Gurley on Sunday?
Oh, I expect the best outing. What I'm concerned about is time of possession. I need early in the game the Rams to generate a lot of first downs because I think New England will. And I think Todd Gurley, it will switch. It will flip-flop from the amount of carries, 5 touches, limited action in the NFC Championship game compared to C.J. Anderson having 17 touches. I believe that will be in direct opposite of what it was last week. Todd Gurley, we need to see him. Todd Gurley from the Georgia Bulldogs.
Listen, I don't think there's a way the Rams can win, a realistic way they can win without Todd Gurley being excellent. But I want to give Gurley and CJ credit for both of them have said and done seemingly all the right things about playing time here. Todd Gurley, we saw no discontent on his face or in his body language.
It don't matter.
Why?
Because they gave Todd Gurley that money.
It's a great point. And CJ's is very happy. He's proven to the world. I mean, he's already proven he can be a starting running back.
CJ he is glad he survived Thanksgiving. Didn't nobody put him on the table for no turkey. That little butterball.
Finally, let's talk about Bill Belichick, who enters Sunday with a 5-3 Super Bowl record. A win would tie him with George Halas and Curly Lambeau for a record 6th NFL championship. CC, would winning Super Bowl 53 be Bill Belichick's greatest accomplishment?
No, that first Super Bowl. Man, that first Super Bowl against the Rams, the greatest show. You talking about a mismatch. You talking about a heavyweight fighting against a middleweight, lightweight, featherweight. That's what that first upset was. So I've seen him do a great job. I think the overall resurrection of his career from a failure in Cleveland to the success of they traded draft picks for him there in New England. There's so many stories that are critical to Bill Belichick and his greatness. No, I don't think this. That one that got the party started, to me, that was the biggest because he gained credibility, not in the football world, but with football players. They'll do whatever. Man, I don't care what kind of talent you had. Guys start calling Belichick. Hey, I'll do whatever you want. Randy Moss. Guys started serving Troy Brown. I'll play defense. Guys start doing different stuff because they believed in his coaching ability. They believed that their career was in better hands with them. Forget what they thought of themselves as a player, but I'm going to trust you. And that gave time for Tom Brady and all these other things to develop. But that first one against the greatest show on turf, which was one of the greatest offenses I had ever seen, the way they dismantled them, the way they took advantage of the rules, a rush in. Instead of him rushing the passer, Marshall Faulk coming out, man, he hit him in space. I was like, we had never seen that before. They changed the rules after that. So for me, that first one against the Rams, that right there was the best thing I've seen him do.
Let me attack this from a little different angle and see what you think of it. The first one against the Rams was the most important, no question. And as far as an individual game, it was as impressive as anything he's ever done because they were 2 touchdown underdogs, because the offense had not been prolific at all throughout that playoff run, and they knew they were going to have to slow down what was up to that point one of the greatest offenses we've ever seen. But this year, if they win on Sunday, the totality of the playoffs and Belichick's fingerprints all over the games, to me, will be neck and neck with how impressive it was.
What do you mean?
What I mean is Belichick and the staff saw what the Chargers did in the wild card round and said, okay, offensively, here's how we're going to attack that defensive front with 7 defensive backs. And defensively, here's what we're going to do that we don't think you're prepared for. Showing more zero blitz than we've shown all year long. And winning that football game by the midway point of the second quarter. The next week, they then go on the road when the team is the worst Patriot team we've seen in this era on the road against the 3rd highest scoring offense in NFL history. and Belichick holds them to 0 points and 32 yards in the first half. Now, yes, the Chiefs' offense got going in the second half, but that they won that game. Their margin was 6. They got 14 up in the first half. If he is then able to also follow it up with slowing down a 13-3, 30-plus point a game Rams team, it will, with what I consider far inferior defensive talent to what they had in that first Super Bowl and to what they had in that first era, it will be as impressive of a coaching accomplishment as is on his resume. And it just continues to widen the gap between he and the other coaches. The second most Super Bowl wins is Chuck Noll with 4. The second most Super Bowl appearances is Don Shula with 6. You mentioned Curly Lambeau and George Halas. Man, they started winning their Super Bowls or their NFL titles in the 20s. Like, we're at least one world war since then. Like, what Belichick has done as far as distinguish himself from every other coach of the last 75 years is truly remarkable.
I have to disagree with you a little bit on that, because the fact is, yeah, he shut down Tyreek Hill. He shut down Keenan Allen. He did. But what did Josh McDaniel do?
Sure.
Josh McDaniel dominated the first divisional round. Offensively, that game was over with. What did Belichick have to do? You got a team coming from L.A. playing in the cold. What's happened in the past? They played just like we saw the Chargers play. Kansas City. Who got up in the morning to meet with the quarterback, wide receiver, tell him I got 8 new plays we're getting ready?
Josh McDaniels.
Okay, so his ability with his staffing, all those things are legendary. But what the offense did compared to the defense performance and shutting down at that time, the greatest offense, the most explosive offense, the most feared offense I had ever seen in the greatest show on turf, what he did to them was defensive. He manhandled them. Totally a mismatch on paper. It was what? Buster Douglas, Mike Tyson. We saw it in a football game, and that to me would be a crown jewel of everything I've seen him do. And this year, it's just another trinket, another rhinestone in the crown. Yes, you will be able to talk about it. Wow, after being blown out on the road, man, they went to Kansas City. So great story in itself, but how it got started, I believe the biggest of them all.
And it's an impressive enough. We're talking about which of his Super Bowls. I mean, to get to the point. Exactly. All right, let's move on from football. We'll get back to this in a second. The latest on Anthony Davis now. While the divorce isn't exactly